Hello and welcome to Gator Spotlight. Our guest today is Jared Morrison, and his group, Good Guy REI, are buying and selling properties in their wholesaling business. Let's bring Jared up now. Hey Jared, how you doing,
Hey,
man?
how's it going, Tim? I appreciate you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, hey, let's just jump right in with this cool
Okay.
subject that we're going to talk about today, right? We all know that everybody gets into real estate because they want to keep their W-2 job forever, work for a company for 50 years and retire with a gold watch. Is that correct? Is that what we want to do? Is that what we all want? Is that why we got into real estate?
Not me.
Not me, man. My goal is to earn enough income through our business so that we can walk away from our W-2 and have freedom of time and money and more opportunities to help people. So I know that's your goal too. And actually, the reason why I'm having you on today is because you actually were able to accomplish that. You were able to walk away from your W-2 within the last year. Is that correct?
Yeah. Actually, today marks 3 months since I left my W-2. I left
That's
October.
that is awesome. So we're gonna get to listen to a little bit of your story about how that happened. Hopefully, it'll be an encouragement to other real estate investors out there who are hoping to do the same thing. Tell me, what was the tipping point for you where you knew you were going to be able, I'm finally going to be able to leave my W-2 and do this full time? Like, there's always like a tipping point. What was that for you?
Yeah, and what you're referring to as the tipping point is really that, mindset shift of where you're ready to go all in. And so let me ask you a question, Tim.
Yeah.
When have you talked to someone and you're asking them about their real estate journey or even just life in general, and what no matter how they're doing in the journey, have you ever talked to someone who's not busy?
Oh, everybody's busy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Everyone's busy, but it's really what are you doing with your time and what do you consider actual success in making progress in your goals? So, for me, I kind of went down all these different paths within Pace Morby's communities of, first I started wholesaling, then I was went down the Gator path like you guys are doing. Decided that some point I'll come back to that. Then I went the top tier TC route because I was a CPA and I understood contracts and I was like, this is my way out. And it was just education, education, education. And it was like, wow,
Mhm.
this is great. I'm learning a lot. But looking back, how much was I actually doing? Not to say I didn't have, some success in all of those areas, but when it comes to moving towards my goal and putting money in my pocket to where I feel comfortable to leave my W-2, when I do a time audit, how much of that time was really spent doing those money making activities? So,
Yeah,
you know,
so what I hear you saying is, you were doing a lot of learning, but you weren't doing a lot of earning. And the only way
exactly.
we're going to get out of our W-2 is if we can earn more in our real estate business than we are making in our W-2 job. And yeah, I get that. And the whole, like what you mentioned, that whole shiny object syndrome, we went through that too. Because like even within the Gator community, there's like 12 different ways to make money. Maybe I
Yeah.
should do this. Maybe I should refer hard money. Maybe I should be doing private money lending. Maybe I should be doing EMD double close. Like there's all these different ways to make money, right? So we spend a lot of time learning, but we're not earning. So how did you figure out
100%.
how to make that shift from learning to earning?
Well, first, I just want to touch on like you're absolutely right. Like with and it comes down to the mindset shift again because it's like
Right.
someone brings like you tell me like you're making money doing double closing, and I've been working on my specific thing, and it's not as awesome as I was told it was going to be. It's not as easy, and then all of a sudden you're telling me about this deal that you just did, and it seems really easy. Now all of a sudden I'm like, well, am I doing the right thing?
Yep.
Uh, and that really comes with like at that point I had not made up my mind of like, no, this is what I'm doing and I'm going to do whatever it takes to succeed. So fast forward, last December when I'm doing goals with my wife, Zoe, we were talking about like, this is the year where I'm going to leave my W-2. And there's a
Awesome.
lot that goes into that. And I didn't have the income to back that up. But it was more of just like drawing that line in the sand of like, it's time to make that happen. I've been investing a lot in my education and in myself. And how do we make that happen this year? So I went into 2024 as a TC, and everyone was talking about, going to Squat Up Summit, but it was in Florida. I had already spent all this money on
Mhm.
education. And yeah, I mean, really, like I left the accounting world, went into sales. My income like dipped almost, I would say by like 70 or probably like 50%. My income dipped going from the CPA world to sales for the first year. But then, as I got better at sales, it went right back up. But all that to say, like I'm spending money on my education, I'm making less money. I also have
Mhm.
rentals and stuff. So just stuff that comes up with that. It wasn't like I was like, yeah, let's just go spend money. And, also with like vacation days and stuff, I went from unlimited PTO to 10 days. And it was just like, am I going to use my 10 days of PTO to go to a real estate event? But I heard
Right.
Brandon Turner, he said, like, this is where the change happens when you're in those environments. Like, as long as it's not going to put you in like financial debt where it's really going to affect your life and you're not spending your last penny, going to these events are life changing. And
Mhm.
so I told Zoe, I was like, I got to go to this event. If I'm going to leave my W-2 by the end of the year, I have to take massive action. And so I did. So I went to the event as a TC looking for clients. And the first person that I meet while I'm there, I mean, I want to say first, probably like third person. First day is David Moody. We're getting these badges where you kind of like put on like your what you've done, like how many deals you've done, like if you're a TC, if you're a lender or whatever. And like I always was pretty bad at arts and crafts. So I'm like going to the table, like trying to precisely put on my name badge. And all of a sudden I meet this guy, David. I find out that, we have the same values, kind of a similar background. And ultimately, like that fire and that commitment, wanting to make that commitment to ultimately do this full time. So, not that we had like a shared vision, but we had a shared idea of where we wanted to go. So, we're there introducing each other, or not introducing each other, introducing ourselves to people that we meet, but we're hanging
Yeah.
out the whole event and we hear the same stories over and over. He's looking for a path. He's done real estate in the past. I'm a TC who can essentially do like pretty much everything related to the transaction from underwriting to talking to the seller to actually doing the TC work. And after the second day, he turns to me and he's like, why don't we partner up in wholesale?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was crazy for me because I'm like, I had told myself, I'm here to be a TC. Like, I need to find clients. This is
Mhm.
my way out. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, oh my gosh, like this might be that opportunity. Like I've had failed partnerships in the past where, you know, the same level of motivation, the same level of work ethic wasn't there.
Right.
And the fact that like you could tell it was there. You could tell there was this synergy. And then Pace introduced Owners Club. And this was the biggest mindset shift for me
Mm.
because not only
Okay.
were the stars aligning here, um, so Pace introduces Owners Club, and I mean, I'm about to tell a personal story. I got the okay from my wife, uh, but you know, I've already I joined Sub 2.5 years ago. I joined Gator probably about a year and a half ago, and then I joined Top Tier uh, November of 2023. So
Right.
spent a lot of money to figure out what I want to do. And like
Yeah.
I said, I took that income hit and, we're doing well. Like I've built up to do what I'm doing. But in
Right.
terms of like,
Well,
you know,
I was gonna say, like, you mentioned you had other partnerships in the past that didn't work out. I would say if you haven't had a couple of failed partnerships, you're not really into real estate yet. Like, right, everybody's got that learning curve, right? And part along the way is, oh, that didn't work out, right? We had a failed fix and flip that taught us a lot. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from the challenges that you face. You learn from bad partnerships too, right? So you got through all of that. You got a few things going. You got all these different avenues, but now it seems like, nothing happens by accident, by the way. You know what I mean? Like I believe God's in control. He kind of guides and leads us through life. And like you said, the stars kind of started to align with this partnership. But then you mentioned, okay, now there's this one more thing, Owners Club. How does that fit in? Isn't that just another rabbit trail? Or tell me how that really wasn't a rabbit trail. It was just part of this whole design.
Yeah, no, 100%. It definitely part of the design. So I'm talking, I know, like I haven't even talked to David about this, like joining Owners Club. So I'm talking to my wife, Zoe, and, I'm explaining to her, because she's very like, she would be happy, honestly, if I like didn't have any ambition. I worked a regular job. I came home at 5 p.m. and we just lived in the suburbs, and that was life. Like, she would be happy with that. So the fact that, like, I'm so ambitious and I'm so driven, I think that at times that can be tough for her. So after, she trusts me so much. And after we've spent all this money, for me to call her and be like, hey, I'm looking to drop another 25 grand plus to join with someone that I haven't even asked yet.
Yeah.
And take this leap of faith of like, it's time. And so I called her and we're on the phone, and this was the tipping point for me.
Okay.
She starts crying because she's so stressed out about money, of like, here we are, I left the CPA world to go the sales route. Everything's turning around in that, but all the money, that additional money I'm making from that, I'm pouring right back into real estate. But I'm buying more real estate, but not really. It's mainly going to my education. And we haven't seen the fruits in terms of active income. Like, we've seen some success, but no, like, continuous traction. And now here I am, pitching, hey, here's another thing to sign up where, I promise we'll make money.
Right.
And so that's where it hit me. I'm like on the phone with my wife, and I'm like, she's just like in tears because of my actions, because of my lack of follow through, because my lack of discipline to not have creative avoidance when, it's time to get things done. And so that was really the mindset shift of where it was like, I am making this happen. So the next day I show up at breakfast with David, and I was like, hey, David, because I hadn't given him an answer about whether I wanted to partner up. And he actually wasn't even there for that speech with Owners Club, because he was off talking about a mobile home park. He was trying to find partners for that we actually ended up buying later. And so I sit down at the breakfast table and I was like, so David, are we going to partner or what? And he looks at me and he's like, what do you mean? Like, you still haven't given me a decision. I was like, well, here's my decision. And I show him the Owners Club badge. And then he goes and signs up later. And then the rest is history.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is a huge tipping point. So your wife, after even through the tears and all that, she was okay with you guys going ahead and investing in this next leap of faith, right?
Again, she supports me 100%. I mean,
That's awesome.
In my life, I've shown that I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. Maybe it takes a little longer, but I've shown no evidence of not to trust me. And she's also, just an amazing woman, amazing wife.
Well, I got to give you some props. You're one of the most trustworthy guys I know. You're faithful to be at the different events. I see you there all the time at like meetups and things like that. And I mean, I was going to reach out to you to remind you that we had this today, but you beat me to the punch. You're like, are we still good for tomorrow? You don't know how refreshing that is. I got to tell you, if you're new in this business, and one of the biggest things you can do is be a good communicator, and you're definitely that. So props to you, my friend. Hey, let me ask you this. What's your focus now? What is Good Guy REI doing? So the people maybe want to, reach out to you, work with you. What are you guys doing? What's your main focus?
So our main focus is wholesaling in general, whether it's acquisitions or dispositions. So like if you need help closing a deal, we can definitely help you out with that. If you need help underwriting a deal, I can help out with that. And also if you need help dispoing deals, that's pretty much what I'm focused on. So we're running a full-fledged wholesaling business right now. And then we also have a couple fix and flips going on. So we're also looking for private money partners in the future.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So yeah, if you want to get a hold of Jared over at Good Guy REI, and if you need help closing a deal, you got maybe a lead that you think, but you don't know how to close it, or you have a property that you got locked up and you need to sell it and you're having trouble finding a buyer, reach out to Jared. What's the best way to get a hold of you, Jared?
Either Instagram or YouTube. You can comment at Jared Morrison REI.
We got that on the ticker at the bottom there. So yeah, reach out to Jared Morrison REI, like you said, Instagram or YouTube. I'm sure those guys could help you out if you have a deal. Is there a particular market that you guys are focused on?
We're focused on Maricopa County.
Okay, so
in terms
here
of
in Arizona.
acquisitions, but
Yeah.
for closing deals, I mean, obviously, that's could be anywhere.
Okay.
Numbers are numbers, and people are people. So locking up deals, we could definitely help out with that. How about you and Marcelo? What do you got going on?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking. I mean, what we do mainly is we are laser focused. This is, we dealt with the whole shiny object syndrome too, like I mentioned. But we are working with a team right now, just like you. We kind of partner with a team, and we are focused 100% in on transactional funding. So I know a lot of people are asking for private money. People are asking for hard money. We're not doing that right now. We're only doing like EMD, double close, transactional funding type things. But the great thing is, because of the partnership we're in, we can fund up to $10 million very quickly and very efficiently. I mean, our team, our TC, and our team are on it. So if you have any need for transactional funding, obviously reach out to us at gatortoclose.com. But hey, man, it's been great having you on here. And any closing thoughts for everybody out there, especially if there's maybe some new wholesalers out there? Any last thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say that you can make money doing anything. And so really just picking something and taking a step back and looking at your time. How are you spending your time? Are you actually doing the things to make money?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you just telling yourself that, hey, like I'm making progress, when in reality, you're just meeting people and watching videos?
That's it. Figure out what the money-making activities are and
Yeah.
focus more energy on that. My wife, Marcella, she came up with this. She's like, I'm going to do 3 hours of money-making activity for every hour of learning that I'm doing. It's a 3-to-1 ratio. And that may be a good place to start. It's easy to just consume videos, like you said, show up at meetings and network. But if you're not doing that money-making activity, whatever that is for you, then you're not going to see the income that you want to see, right? We want earning, not just learning, right?
Yeah. And one other thing that I've learned in the past couple months since leaving my job is that, especially like when you have so much going on and you're sitting in your W-2, you think that like somehow preparation for your week or preparation to do the thing is somehow not part of the money-making activity. Well, I would argue that it's the most important thing, because if you have everything lined up with exactly what you're going to do and what the results that should come from that, you're going to have way more success than just being like, all right, I need to do the thing, and then trying to do it on the spot. So that's definitely been something I've, really benefited from even the past couple of weeks.
Yep. Preparation and planning is key for sure. Well, Jared, it's been great having you on here. I'm sure we'll see you like at the next meetup, and wish you guys great success in the 2025 year. Okay.
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate you having me.
All right. We'll talk to you later. That's going to do it for this episode of Gator Spotlight. If you enjoyed this, please click on the button, I think right here, to like and subscribe to our video channel. See you next time.